Today is Sunday, November 8th, 2020. What the world needs now is love, Jesus love. We need to remind ourselves that we are all humans. There's one race, the human race, and that we're all Americans, and that we're all citizens of the world. Let's work together. Now, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, got the presidency during the Great Depression. And then President Obama got it again when the country was in really bad shape. And now it's time for our President-elect Biden to have the same type of situation. But God is able, and we have to pray together and work together and put faith and works together and use the money that America has to heal the land. We need to heal the land with the blessings that we have.
This is CNN Breaking News.
Welcome to our viewers here in the United States and around the world. I'm Wolf Blitzer in Washington. This is a special edition of the Situation Room. It has now been 1 day since CNN projected that Joe Biden was elected the 46th president of the United States. But while President-elect Biden is preparing to assume the office of the presidency, the current occupant of the White House is still in a state of denial, threatening lawsuits that nearly every legal expert will tell you are destined to fail. The inauguration is now 73 days away. Here's where things stand. Remember, you need 270 electoral votes to win. The president-elect is now projected by CNN to win at least 279 electoral votes, and that number could rise. Alaska, Arizona, Georgia, and North Carolina remain too close to call, but Biden is leading in Georgia, and as we reported last hour, he has widened his lead slightly in Arizona's Maricopa County, and now has a lead there in the state of 20,102 votes. When Joe Biden takes the oath of office on January 20th, he'll face almost unimaginable challenges, including the raging coronavirus pandemic, which seems, sadly, to be getting worse and worse by the day. On Saturday, there were more than 120,000 new coronavirus cases here in the United States. That's the highest single day reported since the pandemic began back in January. But while President Trump refuses to admit defeat, others in his party are signaling that it is well past time for him to concede. CNN's Arlette Saenz is joining us from Wilmington, Delaware right now. Arlette, you've been covering the Biden campaign for the last couple of years. So what is the president-elect's agenda this coming week to prepare for the presidency?
Well, Wolf, President-elect Joe Biden is ready to get right to work tomorrow, starting with some major actions when it comes to the coronavirus pandemic. Biden will be unveiling his 12-person coronavirus task force as he is getting ready to tackle this pandemic even before he gets to office. The coronavirus pandemic really was the focus and the center of his campaign's messaging in these closing months, and it is now going to shape the early days of his transition. Biden has also in the past talked about how during this period he wants to reach out to both Democratic and Republican governors to gauge what their needs are relating to the health crisis. And he is making it clear that this will be a top priority for him in the opening days of his transition. Now, Biden spent the day here at home in Wilmington, Delaware. He attended Mass this morning with some of his family members and also visited the grave site of his late son, Beau Biden. Biden has been spending a lot of time with his family over the course of the past 2 days as they have taken in this moment that they've all worked so hard for decades. And Biden has also been receiving some congratulatory phone calls, including one quite significant one from former President George W. Bush. The former president released a statement today talking about his phone call with Biden. He said, "I extended my warm congratulations and thanked him for the patriotic message he delivered last night. I also called Kamala Harris to congratulate her on her historic election to the vice presidency. Though we have political differences, I know Joe Biden to be a good man who has won his opportunity to lead and unify our country." And then the former president adds, "The American people can have confidence that this election was fundamentally fair. Its integrity will be upheld and its outcome is clear." This is very significant as you have the current president of the United States, Donald Trump, who has not acknowledged the results of this election, and he and his allies have continued to cast cast doubt about the integrity of the election. So the fact that you have former President George W. Bush, a Republican who has undergone peaceful transitions of power as he came into office and as he left, the fact that he is out there congratulating the now President-elect Joe Biden and urging these calls for unity is something that cannot be overstated. Wolf.
Yeah, good for President Bush. He did absolutely the right thing. Very, very impressive to do so. Arlette, we'll get back to you. Thanks very much. I know you're working your sources. The First Lady of the United States, Melania Trump, is now weighing in for the first time publicly on the election results, tweeting in part, "The American people deserve fair elections. Every legal, not illegal, vote should be counted." This comes on the heels of CNN's reporting that the First Lady, along with several others in the president's inner circle, are now urging him to concede and accept the loss. Let's go to our White House correspondent, Caitlin Collins, who's joining us right now. Caitlin, the president's senior advisor and son-in-law, Jared Kushner, is also advising him that it's time to concede. But could anyone really get through to the president on this right now?
That's a good question, Wolf, and it appears that right now the answer to it is no, because the president is sticking by these claims that this is a fraudulent election, even though he's presented no evidence to back those claims up. He's been insisting for days that he won this election, even though CNN and other outlets have declared Joe Biden as the projected winner. But what we're seeing happening in the president's inner circle is they're basically split on what he should do next. We know from sources that Jared Kushner is someone who has approached the president about conceding the election. Clearly, that has not been a step that the president has taken yet. But what we're also learning from my colleague Kate Bennett is that the First Lady Melania Trump has also urged the president to accept the outcome of this election, which is that he is not going to be reelected to a second term. However, you have to counter that advice from those people who are obviously very close to the president with what he's hearing from other people like Rudy Giuliani, Donald Trump Jr., Eric Trump, who are urging the president to stay in this, continue to pursue these legal challenges that their campaign has promised they are going to pursue in several of these critical states, even though privately, Wolf, several campaign officials have acknowledged that there is very little chance of anything that they're pursuing in the courts when it comes to Pennsylvania, Nevada, Arizona, several of these states, is actually going to change the outcome of this election. So really the question is, how long are they going to delay what seems to everyone else outside the White House to be inevitable? Because of course there is going to be at some point where they formally certify these results, but Wolf, if they continue to demand recounts and file lawsuits, it could delay that result. And we've heard from sources that though the president privately has acknowledged the reality, understanding that he has lost this election to Joe Biden, publicly he has not done that, and we also haven't seen him besides when he went to the golf course earlier today and then returned back here to the White House.
He played golf today and he played golf yesterday too, right?
Yes, he did. And that's something actually we've not seen the president do for several weeks when he was on the campaign trail, going to several rallies a day. But yesterday, he was at the golf course when CNN called the election for Joe Biden. He golfed with the manager there at the club, and then he returned.
So, a couple of things here. Let them file whatever they want to file, and that'll keep President Trump busy, which would be a very good thing, all right? And Biden should continue to talk to the American public, bringing people together, getting his transition team together, talking about the coronavirus and how we're going to get rid of it, and bring about a peaceful transfer of power. That's very important, and that will happen. Okay, it's definitely going to happen in America. This is America, the greatest nation in the world, the most blessed nation in the world, and we must be a blessing to the entire world by ending the coronavirus. And that will happen when everyone has free health care throughout the country and the world, okay? Because every person is important throughout this entire world. We're one race, and that's the human race.
Again today, you can see him there where he was earlier this afternoon, right outside Washington, and those are the only public appearances the president has made. Of course, CNN captured him, but he has not appeared in front of our cameras otherwise to speak with reporters since Thursday night.
The weather's been great this weekend here in Washington, approaching 70 degrees or so. Good day to play golf. All right, Caitlin, thank you very much. We'll get back to you as well. Joining us.
Thank you for being a part of my YouTube page, and have a great day.